What's going on, LEGO fans? Welcome back. Alex here. Today we will be building and reviewing the new 1989 Batwing. This thing just came out today. Set number 76161 contains 2,363 pieces and retails for $200. The Batwing is the latest addition in these very large-scale Batman-themed LEGO sets. We also had the Batmobile, the 89 Batmobile, back in 2019, and previously to that we had the Tumbler in 2016. Now we have this third set that's going to look really nice between those two. We were a little nervous that they wouldn't have these in stock or enough of them at the LEGO store we went this morning, but as you can see, they had plenty there, so no problem. So Josh and I are going to go ahead and do a build of this. We'll do a time lapse, of course. Quick review and place it downstairs in the basement next to the 89 Batmobile and the Tumbler. And we are back. The 1989 Batwing is complete, and here it is in all of its 1989 glory. First impressions with this thing is it's big. I think it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. I really didn't know what to expect, really. I knew it was going to be a big one, big set, but as I was building out the frame, you build the frame first with this thing in the first couple of sections, and it just extends. It took over the table in that time lapse. You guys probably noticed that the wingspan of this Batwing is quite impressive. So the circumference with this thing is very cool, but when you look at it obviously straight on, it's not quite as impressive. It's very, very thin, which is obvious. I mean, it's a jet. It's not supposed to be thick, but this thing's strong point when you look at it is definitely from above, when you're looking down at all these amazing details on the top of the Batwing. Here's the instruction booklet for the 1989 Batwing, very similar in size to the 89 Batmobile as well. Open this thing up here. As you can see, it is built in 13 sections. The first 4 sections of the Batwing go very quickly, and you feel like you're going to be, and it gets big really quickly because there's a lot of Technic elements being used as the frame, and you feel like you're going to get it done in no time, and then all of a sudden, about section 5, you hit a brick wall with some very much detailed builds with a lot more pieces, and you find yourself searching through a lot of those. But all in all, through it, beginning to end, it was a lot of fun to build, never a dull moment, and I think it took us between 4 to 5 hours to build. By the way, I love this page right here with the Batmobile and the Batwing next to each other. Very cool. But as always, it's always nice to get this little bonus with these instruction booklets with information about the designer and the development of the model as well. Let's go to the back here. We have that really cool 89 Batman symbol here, and typical stuff here at the back here. You have an inventory of all your pieces. Not a lot of stickers with this thing. Obviously, the big sticker is going to be the plaque going on that 8x16 large black tile. Very small stickers with this thing, all of them going into the cockpit. A couple of them very, very small, going on just 1x1 tiles. A very cool cockpit, very well detailed and designed. I like the levers on here, but this is definitely where all the stickers are. I will also say that I love how they integrated the shield over the cockpit very, very well. It's actually not connected via stud to an anti-stud. You just pull it straight on out and you put it right back in, and it's very, very snug. Even though it's not connected to anything, if you hold it upside down, it's not going to fall out. So a really, really good design on that overall with the cockpit, and overall very well done design. You get 3 minifigures with the Batwing. You, of course, get Batman, as well as the Joker. Different style Joker here, of course, as well as this boombox henchman here on the left. Now, this style of Joker, as well as the henchman, are exclusive to the Batwing, so you will not find these in any other LEGO set. When we look at the comparison between these 3 as well as the 3 that came with the Batmobile, you'll notice the stand they are on is absolutely identical to each other. No changes there. What also is identical and also kind of disappointing to me is that the 2 Batman minifigures are identical as well. No changes there with them at all. Very much the same through and through. I guess that makes sense, but I would have liked to have some sort of uniqueness between the 2. But overall, pretty solid minifigures through and through. Taking a quick look underneath the Batwing, not a lot to write home about here, but I will say I do appreciate that the designer put something underneath the Batwing. I mean, he probably could have put nothing down here and we would have said nothing about it, because honestly, when we have this thing displayed, we're probably never going to see the bottom of this thing. So I do appreciate the fact that there was some effort in putting some details underneath this. When it comes to displaying your Batwing, well, you have 2 options. The first option is to use a display stand that comes with it, which is very robust and reminds me a lot of the Star Wars UCS sets. The only difference here is that the Batwing stand does not allow you to pivot. The UCS Star Wars ones allow you to display it flat or angled, whereas the Batwing remains fixed at an angle, which honestly, it looks the best that way, so I totally understand where they are coming from. I think you can alter it and take the pins out and put them in different holes, but be very careful with that, because this thing can easily tip over if you angle it too far forward. The other display option is to ditch the display stand completely and hang this on your wall, which I think is a brilliant idea, especially given the fact that this thing is nice and flat like a picture anyway. So LEGO has developed this very specialized, I guess, Technic element that they put at the very center of the Batwing that will allow you to hang it from, I don't know, a screw or nail or whatever that is protruding from your wall. And beyond that, what's pretty nifty is LEGO has given you instructions in the instruction booklet at the end on how to do this. There are a couple of red LEGO crowbars in this hidden compartment behind the pilot seat here. You take one of these and you use it to remove the 2x4 tile on the seat of the Batwing, and this reveals that specialized piece I was telling you about. And this allows you to actually see where you're putting your Batwing on your nail or screw or whatever it is, and then once you've got it all lined up and hung, you put that back on there and you're good to go. So now comes the moment of truth, getting this thing downstairs and displaying it. And honestly, with how big this thing is on the stand, I'm not sure it's going to fit on that shelf, because the way it's displaying, I only have 10 inches of shelf space on that, and I'm pretty sure this extends beyond that. I'm going to go downstairs, I'm going to fiddle around with this thing and see what I can figure out, and we'll go to that point. So wish me luck, guys. So here is the Batwing displayed in portrait style. When I first came down here, I did attempt to display it on the stand. Now the stand actually did barely stay on the shelf, but it looked very awkward sticking so far out, and all you need is somebody just to barely touch it for it to come crashing down to the ground. So I elected to get rid of the display stand and just display it like this, and honestly, I like it like this. It's pretty cool. Unfortunately, the space between these 2 shelves is not quite enough to fit it, so it's actually flat against the wall. I need maybe just a half more inch, not even that. It's 20 inches and then maybe, I don't know, 20 1/8 inch. But this thing maybe needs a little bit more. So it is actually standing on its rear end right here. And as I knock everything down, I just created this little stand right here to do this. There we go. So at the very top here, it is actually touching that shelf too, and it is at a very slight angle here. So if I go over here, you can see it is angled just a little bit, so it is not actually attached into the wall, but it is quite safe, secure. It's not going to fall forward. So that is kind of the final resting place of the Batwing. And honestly, it'll probably collect less dust this way, right? I've already had to collect or remove some dust from the 89 Batmobile as well. So let's take a look at the shelf here. We got the 89 Batmobile, of course, that came out October of last year. I do have the 2 sketches of Batman and the Joker, because why not? I have them. Of course, the display here for these are on... I had to create my own little cheap one really quick since I'm not using the display stand. I decided to take the minifigure stands out of the display cases. I don't know if I'll put them back there or not, but I think they look pretty cool out here on the shelf. And of course, concluding the lineup here is the tumbler. Very happy that I actually have that in my collection. We just built that a couple weeks ago. So there is the Batman shelf. Pretty cool, right, guys? Very fun build. Let me know what you guys think of this thing, and if you're going to be picking this thing up as well. $200 for this thing. The Batmobile is $250, still available from Lego, so pick that up if you haven't already, if you want to. These two next to each other look really cool, but man, it is just so large. I mean, it's just the circumference of this thing is just incredible. It really sticks out, and I think if I go to the end of my basement here to the other side, this thing is going to be very, very visible. So, which is great. I like it. So, all right, guys. Well, I think that's it for now. I'm just kind of rambling on here, I guess, now at this point. But we'll have some more fun stuff for you here again in the near future. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.